For the third type of device used to measure fluid flow, we have the weirs. So weirs are hydraulic structures constructed across open channels or rivers over which water flows. So itong si open channels actually siya ay ang susunod pa lang nating topic, no? Pero when you say open channel, basically, common example nito is irrigation. So si irrigation, so meron tayong nilalagay na weir sa kanya. So primarily, weirs are used to measure the discharge, regulate flow, and control water levels. However, ang pinaka-main na use niya talaga is to measure discharge. So later on, you will see that halos lahat ng formula natin dito actually is formula ng discharge Q. So the flow over a weir depends on the height of water above its crest, known as the head, which governs the rate of discharge. Now, etong kulay gray dyan na may pointed na top, yan yung tinutukoy natin as weir. So basically, ito ay isang side view niya. So yung channel bottom, so imagine parang daluyan siya ng tubig of any shape. Tapos meron tayong ilalagay na harang. So yung harang na yun, meron pa rin namang mag-overflow dun sa taas na part. So by the way, ito yung tinatawag nating weir at meron siyang iba't ibang part. So yung pinaka-top part ng ating weir, tinatawag natin siyang crest. Therefore, from the bottom ng channel up to the top ng weir, yun yung tinatawag nating crest height. So it is denoted as letter P. And then the height of water from the top of the weir or yung crest natin, papunta kung nasan yung water surface, yun yung head causing the flow. Now, etong nap naman dyan, basically that's the point dun sa ating flow of fluid kung saan tuluyan ng dumadaloy yung tubig dun sa ating mismong weir. Now, to give you a better idea what weir is, so ito yung ibang definition niya. So in general, weirs are classified based on their shape and geometry, such as rectangular, triangular, trapezoidal, in which suited for specific flow measurement conditions. In addition, weirs may also be classified according to the crest characteristics and flow conditions. So by the way, si weirs, no, you can think of it as another type of opening. So opening doon sa mismong bukanan ng tubig. So, parang gano'n din ang dating niya. You may attach it on a side of a tank wherein parang ganito ang itsura niya. For example, meron tayong square na tank. And then you want to have an opening dun sa isang side niya, let's say triangular. Wherein dito magpo-flow yung ating water. So isa ito dun sa mga application din ng ating weir. So hindi lang siya ina-apply lagi kay open channel. So based on the crest geometry, so meron tayong dalawang klase, sharp-crested and then broad-crested. So tulad lang din siya ng opening ng ating orifice. So by the way, sharp-crested, ito mismo ang kanyang itsura. So pointed yung ating crest. And then syempre pag broad-crested, so ito yung thick plate or pwede rin siyang round shape. And then aside from the crest geometry, we have also flow condition. So we have free, unsubmerged weir, and then submerged drowned weir. So when we say free, unsubmerged weirs, ito ang itsura niya. So ito nasa figure natin na nandito, this is basically free unsubmerged sharp-crested weir. So pag sinabi nating unsubmerged, so yung tubig dun sa kabilang side ng weir ay hindi or below the pinaka-crest natin. Pag sinabi kasi nating submerged, yung second type based on flow condition, so possible yung tubig nandito siya. So dito kasi sa figure natin, nandito yung water level dun sa may right side ng ating weir. So this is the free or unsubmerged. Pero kung yung dun sa right side ng ating weir is nandito yung water level, say ito. May tubig lahat yan. So basically, that's what we call submerged weir. Okay? So for the different types, first we have rectangular weir. So itong view naman natin na to, ito yung front view. So diba dun sa drawing natin kanina, Ito yung channel bottom, tapos ito yung ating sharp crested na weir. Ngayon, ang tinitignan naman natin sa view na to is actually we're looking at this view. So, etong part na yan, doon sa drawing natin kanina, eto siya. Etong gray din dito sa part na yan. And then yung head or the level of water above the crest. So, yun naman yung H natin. Okay? So, for the rectangular weir, ang formula natin for the discharge considering velocity approach. By the way, when we say velocity approach, balikan natin yung figure. So, yung velocity approach, basically, ano yung velocity ng liquid habang papalapit pa lang siya dun sa ating weir. To take note, di ba kasi ang velocity or ang flow ng ating liquids is mainly nakarely dun sa ating head causing the flow. So, dito, sa part na to, itong part na to actually, dito na mag-i-start yung ating tinatawag na drawdown. So, si drawdown, mag-i-start ng mag-curve pababa yung ating water surface. Kasi nga, paagos na siya dun sa kabilang side. So, eto man, actually, ito yung tinatawag nating drawdown, no? So, the difference in the original na water surface papunta dun sa nag-curve down na kasi pa-flow na siya dun sa ating mismong weir. So, yung velocity approach, basically, we consider the velocity ng fluid natin as it approaches the weir. By the way, no, etong head natin above the crest, pag inad natin siya doon sa crest height, so ang tawag natin kasi dito, itong height na to is the head upstream or head causing the flow or depth of the liquid upstream of the weir natin. Balik tayo doon. So, formula natin, considering velocity approach, that's 2/3 C, square root of 2GL. So, medyo mahaba-haba, no? To quantity H plus VA squared over 2G raised to 3/2 minus VA squared over 2G raised to 3/2. So, ang tinutukoy natin na velocity approach is etong si V sub A. Wherein, that V sub A can be computed using Q is equals to AV. So, yung Q, ito yung tinatanong. Etong area of flow naman na to, basically, this is the area ng flow natin before the fluid reaches or before it arrives dun sa mismong location ng ating weir. Now, if we neglect the velocity approach, so pag nineglect natin, basically, mawawala itong dalawang term na to. So, ang matitira lang dito sa loob ng bracket natin is just the H na naka-raise to 3/2. So, this is the simplified version if we will neglect the velocity approach. Now, take note, no, yung L is actually the parang width ng ating rectangular weir dito. And then the P is the crest height. So, from channel bottom, papunta dun sa pinakatuktok ng ating weir. And the H is always from the crest, papunta kung nasaan man yung water surface natin. Okay? So, it is common practice to combine 2/3 C square root of 2G. So, itong part na to, yun yung nasa unahan. Itong part na yan. So, it is a common practice na express daw yan into a single coefficient CW. So, CW is called the weir factor. So, the general formula for a discharge rectangular weir considering velocity approach then becomes, so, etong dalawang ito ay same lang doon sa nasa previous slide. It's just that pinalitan natin yung 2/3 C square root of 2G ng CW. So, etong si CW kasi, maraming researchers na nag-study. Basically, marami tayong author tapos magkakaiba yung value ng kanilang CW. Which sometimes help kasi hindi mo na i-compute yung 2/3 C square root of 2G. By the way, take note of the difference, no? Yung C dyan, that's the coefficient of discharge. So, si CW, yun yung wear factor natin. So, si coefficient of discharge, take note that ang value niya always less than 1.0. However, pag may nakita kayong value ng C na greater than 1, maybe mga 2, 3, 4, mga ganun ang value, usually that value is for wear factor. Okay? So, etong dalawang to ay same lang dun sa previous, no? Pinalitan lang yung 2/3 C square root of 2G. So, ang pinakasikat na value ng CW is using the Francis formula. So, eto ginagamit natin kapag walang binigay na coefficient of discharge. So, gagamitin mo na CW matic 1.84. So, that's called Francis formula, no? And this is also used pag walang binigay na given ng CD or coefficient of discharge. Okay? So, more on the rectangular weir, meron tayong contracted. Kasi contracted, eto, pwede siyang 1 contraction, pwedeng 2 contraction. So, di ba kanina, eto, yung buong crest lang natin. Pero for this one, so merong isa or dalawang contraction. So, ang ginagawa lang naman dito, pag contracted yung ating rectangular weir, so yung formula ng L natin do sa previous slides will be replaced by L prime. Wherein the formula of L prime is this one, L minus 0.1 n times H. N is the number of contraction and then H is the head above the crest. So dito ang mangyayari, siyempre kung 1n contraction lang, ang magiging formula ng L prime mo, dito ko na lang siya isulat. For 1n contraction, ang magiging L prime natin is basically L minus 0.1 times 1 times H. Or this is basically L prime minus or equal to L minus 0.1 H. For 2n contraction, so yan ay magiging L prime is equal to L minus 0.2 H lang siya. Kasi dito, basically, that's 0.1 times 2 yung value ng n natin. Kaya magiging 0.2 H yung isusubtract. So take note, kapag contracted, dito sa dalawang formula na to, even yung previous slide pa, no, yung L dito, papalitan lang natin ng L prime if contracted siya. Okay? Now, for the different value ng ating wear factor, so ito yon. So, for the general value ng wear factor, ito yung normal na in-express talaga in terms of CW, yung 2/3 square root of 2G. So, ito yung Francis formula, Reebok and Chow, and other types of wear. Etong dalawang ito, kay sharp-crested and broad-crested, so hindi sila CW, no? So, they are just coefficient of discharge. So, dito naman, ang kailangan mo to determine the value ng C is the head and then the crest height. So, si crest height from the bottom of the channel to the top ng weir natin. So, yun yung P. So, check nyo na lang, recall the previous slides natin. Okay? For the next type of weir, we have triangular. So, triangular, ito naman ang formula ng kanyang discharge, 8/15 C square root of 2G tangent theta over 2H raised to 5 halves. So, basically, walang L dun sa ating formula, no? Ang kailangan lang natin is the height. So, yung L kasi, depende kung gaano siya kataas, so it will vary. So, the value of L varies depending kung gaano man kalaki yung H natin. So, kaya ginawa na lang yung L, in-express natin in terms of H. So, kaya 5 half yun nandito. And actually, no, sa lahat ng klase ng weir, si triangular lang actually ang raised to 5 half. So, majority of them uses H raised to 3 half sa mga formula nila. Okay? So, the theta dito is basically the vertex angle ng ating triangular weir. So, that's the original formula ng discharge. And if you use the wear factor, so dito naman ang ginagamitan ng wear factor is etong buong term na to. So, kanina 2/3, ngayon 8/15. Pero ini-express pa rin siya in terms of CW. And for the common type ng isang triangular weir, we have the 90 degree. So, pag sinabing 90 degree, dito sa ating figure, dapat perpendicular yung dalawang side. And kapag ganun yung case, so madali na lang ang formula natin. Ang kailangan mo na lang basically is the H. So, that's Q is equal to 1.4 H raised to 5 halves. Okay, next one, we have the trapezoidal weir. So, si trapezoidal weir, actually, huwag kayong masyadong matakot, no? Kung ito man yung lumabas. Basically, di ba, first type, rectangular, second type, triangular. So, pagsamahin lang natin yung formula nila. Kasi dito, etong gitna, that's a rectangle part. Tapos, etong gilid na dalawa, pag pinagdikit nyo yan, kamukha din naman nung triangle weir natin. So, yung formula niya, basically, this first term is for the rectangle. while this second term galing siya kay triangle. So, pinag-add lang natin. Kasi by principle, so pwede mo namang i-isolate yung rectangle tapos pagtabihin mo yung dalawang kalahating triangle to get the discharge. So, that's for the trapezoidal weir. And we have a special case ng trapezoidal weir. So, tinatawag natin siyang Cipolleti weir. So, Cipolleti weirs are trapezoidal weir with a side slope of 1 horizontal to 4 vertical. The additional area at the sides adds approximately enough width of the stream to offset the side contractions. So dito, ang formula natin for discharge is Q equal to 1.859 L H raised to 3 half. So as long as yung side slopes ay 4 vertical, 1 horizontal. Now, in some cases, no, minsan kasi babanggitin na lang ano yung angle from the horizontal. Let's say ng isang trapezoidal weir. So, minsan hindi babanggitin na 4 vertical, 1 horizontal siya. Minsan bibigay. So, you need to somehow recall anong value ng angle theta from the horizontal in case of a Cipolleti weir. So, to get that, say tangent theta is equal to vertical over horizontal. So, ito yung vertical natin, ito yung ating horizontal. So, dapat ito ay 4 over 1. So, theta can be approximated to be equal to 75.963 degrees. So, kapag nakita nyo ganitong value or 75.96 lang, you may assume na it is Cipolleti weir. Now, another variation sa mga problem, instead of giving this 75, ang ibibigay yung kanyang complement. So, yung angle from the vertical naman. So, subtract lang from 90. So, this is angle from horizontal. However, pwede rin ibigay na ang value is, so 90 minus 75.963, so 14.036 degrees. So, this is angle from vertical naman. So, if you see any of these two value ng angle ng isang trapezoidal, so you may assume na agad na siya ay Cipolleti weir. Parang hindi nyo na problemahin kasi if ever na hindi nyo siya ma-distinguish to be Cipolleti, you have no choice but to express it in terms of sum ng rectangle and triangle. Pero kung na-figure out nyo naman na Cipolleti siya, so madali na lang yung pagkukompute ng kanyang discharge. Okay? Next. So, for the submerged drowned weir, so for the submerged drowned weir, I'm not sure kung meron akong na-attach na figure. Pero I think wala, no? Let me check. Okay? So, for the Villamonte formula, it is a formula wherein i-express natin yung ating discharge for a submerged drowned weir considering the discharge of the unsubmerged weir. So, diba ito yung dalawang type ng weir natin based on flow condition. So, drawing ko na lang dito. Let's say we have a channel bottom, then ito yung ating weir. Let's say broad-crested siya. Then, for the water, so let's say for the first type, ganito ang itsura. Tapos, yung tubig dito sa kabilang side ay nandito lang. Baba ko nga, hindi siya makita. Okay? So, etong figure na to, ito yung itsura ng free or unsubmerged weir. Ito naman kapag submerged weir. So, basically, sabi ko kanina, on the right side ng ating weir, so hindi nare-reach ng water level yung pinaka-crest. However, for the submerged or drowned weir, yung elevation ng water dun sa kabilang side is basically above the crest na nung ating weir mismo. So, kapag ganito yung case kasi, the value ng discharge is actually different compared to the formula na ginagamit natin for rectangle, triangle, and trapezoidal. So, same pa rin naman siya if rectangle, so use the Q for rectangle, same with the triangle and trapezoidal. However, kapag submerged weir siya, whatever the value ng Q na na-compute nyo, kailangan nyo siyang express in terms of Q prime. So, Q prime is kapag ang case natin is submerged drowned weir. So, dito, that's Q, quantity ng 1 minus quantity ng H2 over H1 raised to N raised to 0.385. So, si H2 is the head downstream and H1 is the head upstream. So, dito, for example, for submerged weir, ito yung ating H1. So, kung ito yung ating crest height, so ito yung ating H1. And then, ito naman yung ating H2. And then, for the N, so depende yan kung anong klase. So, kung rectangle, that's 3/2. Pag triangle, 5/2. So, pag trapezoid naman, you need to do 2 terms. So, pag-add nyo si rectangle and then si triangle. So, you can do separately. So, for Q prime ng trapezoid, so, Q prime ng rectangle plus Q prime ng triangle. So, you do it separately, no? And then just add to get the Q prime ng trapezoid naman. Okay? Now, next type is weir with variable head. So, when you say variable head, basically it's a type ng falling head lang din, parang kay orifice. So, dito, for example, initially, ang laman na tubig ng isang tank natin with a rectangular orifice sa isang side niya ay etong si H1. So, originally, ang tubig ay hanggang dito. Hanggang sa part na to. And then, syempre, after some time, so na-drain yung ibang tubig. So, naging H2 na lang. So, yung ating H is measured from the crest. So, parang ito na yung pinaka-crest natin dito sa weir with variable head. Now, to get the time to reduce the head from H1 to H2, so ito yung formula natin. So, same din siya kay orifice. So, T is equals to integral ng ASDH over Q out from H1 to H2. So, dito, kapag na-derive na natin, so take note, etong Q na to, that depends kung anong klase siya. Kung rectangle, so Q ng rect ang gagamitin. Kung triangle, Q ng triangle din ang gagamitin dito. No? Kung trapezoid, so Q ng trapezoid. So, regardless of what you use, for example, for rectangular weir dito, ito yung derived na. So, 2AS, CW. Take note si CW, kapag walang binigay, will be using 1.84 as from the Francis formula. So, that's the for rectangular weir, no? Pero kung hindi siya rectangular weir, so you have no choice but to use this formula na naka-integral. So, just use yung formula ng Q out, whatever the type ng weir na kinukuha na nyo ng time.